Hi there, I'm live. It is Saturday, and hopefully, you're joining me here tonight to talk about, well, a lot of stuff. There's Friday, yesterday at 8 a.m. my time, at 12 noon on over in the UK, Indicator started their big sale. And when I say their big sale, I really mean their big sale. It is their most successful sale to date. They are selling out of titles pretty quickly, and there's certain ones that have really gotten low. So I actually take great pride in the fact that I was able to cover before the sale came out and actually talk with a lot of you about potentially what you were gonna pick up or like what you're gonna check out in the sale. I got some tea tonight and work like that. Hey Scottar, hey Dave, hey Rich, how's it going, guys? So hopefully you guys got. I know Scottar got probably everything that he wanted in the sale. I know that Dave got his stuff early. Did you pick up anything, Rich? Now, just so you know, one of the box sets that went out of print during the sale is this one right here. This is Ray Harryhausen Volume 2. Has Mysterious Island, Jason and the Argonauts, and First Men on the Moon. Now, fantastic box set. I remember Mysterious Island, I think for a while was put up by Twilight Time, but it went fairly fast. And of course, Jason and the Argonauts has had a couple kind of decent releases. A family video, as they say on HBO titles. So anybody that's got like a family video that's kind of close to them, and you're an HBO fan, there's a way to go with that. See, there's always, thanks for that, Rich, by the way, there's always a sale, I think, going on. Code Red's like kind of mini kind of flash sale. You got to save something for next year. Online. It actually did well. I was actually surprised because it was kind of a small sale. Hey, Jason, how's it going, man? Well, the Indicator sale went nuts. They were talking about like this being their biggest one yet. Nice. It is like the shipping can be a bit pricey, like on there, but the way I the way I see it for the price that you're getting the sets for, it kind of more than evens out. You get a good deal on them, which is always a good thing. They've sought out. You're lucky because you picked up the Ray Harryhausen sets, and now Volume 2 is gone. So you got in under the wire, which is always a good thing. Always cool. Code Red too, by the way, had the small, like Ronin Flicks had kind of like a small sale, and I was surprised. Some of their stuff actually sold out. Hey, Danuch. So I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, like Code Red does do some pretty cool stuff, and though the sale was kind of small, so I was I'm always pleasantly surprised when something sells out. Hey, Michelle, thank you for coming in. You're always a ray of sunshine in here, no matter how long or short your stay is. That is so true. One of these days, who knows, we'll podcast something together. Arrow meets vinegar syndrome. So Code Red lost, well, not lost out. They sold out on the Revenge of the Cheerleaders. They sold out on Massimo Dalmano's Night Child, which is actually a pretty good possession film. Arrow put out, Michelle knows this, put out a DVD release of this one, and I would totally be up for that. And what's that? And another one called Super. It's called Super Bitch. The second one's called, but that's not the best title for it. Force 5 sold out. Headhunter. Wow, Headhunter sold out. Brute Core sold out. So there's like a lot of these sales doing well. I haven't been checking on like the Zabby sale to see like how that's been going. They're not. It's harder to tell with Zabby if what's sold out, what hasn't, type of thing. But when it comes to Indicator, they're really good. They're really like they're on their Facebook page. You got to like go on like constantly, and they're letting you know, okay, there's 10 copies of this lift, there's 35 copies of this one. Mickey 1 is selling out right now. That type of thing. You'll always see that on there, and that has been a blast. I keep trying to open up my thing so I can see the messages that I missed, because I know I missed messages. And what happened? Well, What happens is I open up the wrong thing. And I don't think I'm going to see any of your messages on Instagram, so let's go to my channel. Should pick want to get free shipping. How many you picked up? Like, did you not get free shipping with the match? Didn't you pick up like something like, was it 18? 18 Scalder picked up, I think, something like 18 titles from the indicator sale. I unfortunately, like for me this year, I got a big round zero. I wish I could have gotten a lot. I'm hoping that next year I'll know around the time that the sale is coming and I can save up for it. Right now, I am looking towards October, and I'm a planner. I'm a super. I know it doesn't seem like it with the way that my channel is, but I'm like this super, like, I research a lot, like a lot. The movies, that's not just a backdrop. I research myself a lot, so I know kind of what I'm going in for, and that's what I'm doing right now. Actually, is what I'm researching. Hey, Jason, welcome, dude. I'm researching what I'm going to do for October, and I have a theme, and I'm excited about that. So for the first time in a while, I've got an October theme, and that's going to be pretty cool. I did like let people know that I'm going to be doing the Karnstein trilogy for October. That is something that I will be doing for sure. So if you're a Hammer fan and you're like a later Hammer fan, you like the Ingrid Pitt stuff, you like Ralph Bates, you like that type of stuff, I'm going to be getting to the Karnstein stuff. So I'm going to be talking about like Twins of Evil. I'm going to be talking about Lust of a Vampire. I'm going to be talking about Vampire Lovers, and I'm going to throw Vampire Circus in there as well because one, it's a really cool film. Two, it kind of fits in with the Karnstein thing. It's almost like a fourth one. It's like Vampire Journals for with Full Moon and their whole subspecies thing. Think of like Vampire Circus as that type of thing. And three, it's got Layla Ward. So Layla Ward, man, not enough talking about Layla Ward. Twins is fantastic. Jason, did you get the Synapse edition? I think Synapse edition of Twins, because I'll also be talking about the documentary. Hey, George. And I'll also be talking about the documentary as well. And I'm going to be definitely watching that documentary after I watch the films, so to get kind of more of a breadth on the whole thing, because I remember that being a fantastic documentary. Twins is one I got a few years back, and but I had like an 84-minute documentary on there. It actually talked about like the book too, and it really went in depth. So hopefully I'll be able to like do a bit of justice to it. The doc's really cool, actually. The doc's almost as long as the film itself. The documentary runs at 84 minutes long. It's on the Synapse Blu-ray of it, and it is glorious. What I can say is glorious. I gotta ask here: does anybody pick up Severin titles? Because I'm kind of curious about a specific title, and it does have a full-length documentary on it, which has me really intrigued. And hopefully, I was hoping some of you guys in the movie club will know exactly what I'm talking about. So, out of all the fanfare stuff that Severin has put out recently, there has been like some stuff that people have been pretty excited about. One of the ones that I think kind of fell under the radar a bit is a movie called The Beast in Heat, which is a Nazi exploitation film. So definitely not up everybody's alley. But honestly, I kind of just zoomed over my head type of thing. I just really didn't. I remembered it like I remember it under another title, like I think it was SS Hellcamp or something like that. Another. I had it like under on DVD at one point, like a pretty shoddy edition of it. And I was like, I can probably take it or leave it. Might be something interesting, might be something I can do for Halloween, but I'm not quite sure. Then I looked into it a bit more, and I found out that there is actually a feature-length documentary, so like around, I guess, an 80 or 90-minute long documentary on Nazi exploitation films, included with Beast and Heat. They even talked to Ilsa herself, Diane Thorne, on this documentary. We're not talking about a 50-minute featurette or a 20-minute thing or even a 30-minute thing. We're actually talking about a feature-length documentary that was on this here. I had no idea that one, that it existed, two, that it was on this disc. But it kind of makes that one for me a kind of a must-have. Like, I'm not a huge fan of cannibal films, but when I found out that there was a film, that there was a film in the 88 Films library that had a cannibal documentary on it, cannibal films documentary, I kind of had to have that, even though I knew I probably wasn't going to watch that film that much. I knew that I'd get a lot of the documentary itself, and maybe it would like steal my nerves a bit, so I can actually watch a few of the cannibal films when the time comes to actually do them on my channel, because I try to make sure I get a bit of everything. I kind of push myself. I've been trying to get my better half to do a video with me, because I think it'd be nice, be something different, be something cool, something we could do. Now, this video, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, is gonna, where I tried to keep this one sort of, I had planned to do like a top 10 list, that type of thing. Cannabis Fair. I think I got the old edition of Cannabis Fair actually from. Remember the first edition that Grinders put out? I got that one over there. I think it's the same documentary actually, if I remember correctly, because I know it was put out by the same. I think it was put out by the same people. That's hard to say. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Kobe. The first one obviously has been out the longest. So, with that being said, just by process of like of time frame and the ability, to be out there. The first one's been out the longest. It does have more horror. Hey Ken, welcome, dude. It does have more horror on it than the other sets. So that may get some people like kind of leaning towards the Hammer Volume 1 set as well. So I would say, the first or second volume, those are the two that will probably sell out the fastest. What do I think? Scream of Fear has been verified, Ken, as being one of them on that set. On the Facebook's an Indicator's Facebook page, they showed a clip of a picture, and it showed this tow truck, this kind of hook from this tow truck. And one eagle-eyed viewer actually showed the full picture, which was a still from the movie you just spoke about, Scream of Fear. So at this point, they responded back with a little snippet of Hammer Volume 4 and didn't put anything else on there. No, you just came in perfectly. I'm keeping everything fairly free flow tonight, so I'll be honest with you guys. The more questions you ask, the more comments you make, the better this video is going to go. So when there's no topic, you can't steer away from a topic. Oh wow, Mark, that is epic. So what other Sony hammers are left? Now it depends. If I would love to see Pete Walker box set. I would rebuy for Pete Walker, because I got the Kino ones, but I would rebuy, especially knowing they put on Guardian interviews and stuff like that. So if you're talking about horror, like if you're talking more horror oriented, Ken, then you're looking at Revenge of Frankenstein is still available. Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll is definitely there. If you want to talk like kind of action, like stuff like that, then you could be looking at some of the pirate films or Robin Hood. Those are still like out there. Those haven't been put over. In all honesty, if they have the rights, and the ability, and they kind of feel like these sets are doing really well. The one thing I'm hoping, and I can't stress this enough, is I'm a huge Hammer fan, so I hope that a lot of people have been buying the Hammer sets. You are not the worst. You are one of my favorites. And you gotta get yourself some Hammer. Get some of these cool Indicator box sets. Now, if you're anything like me right now, it's a it's a hard time to buy any box sets, but eventually. All right. So yeah, there's a few there. I think a lot of people would love to see Revenge of Frankenstein. Uh, See, the thing is that Mill Creek put out Revenge of Frankenstein. Nice. So, but the copy of Revenge of Frankenstein that they had, out of all the stuff that Mill Creek has put out recently, because they've done some really good, like, there's been some really good restorations, remasters of stuff. Revenge of Frankenstein was the iffy one. It's the one that didn't work out the best for Mill Creek, and it's the one that people want to see Indicator put out and get a use a different master of it, like basically get a new remaster for Revenge of Frankenstein. It now that being said, Revenge of Frankenstein is definitely not one of the bigger Hammer Frankenstein films, but it's definitely one that is up there that people kind of want. Same with Two Faces with Dr. Jekyll. If I mention that to a lot of people, they're going to say what, but they're going to say what the hell is that? Because it's not exactly the most well-known film in the Hammer like archives basically. But the good thing about Indicator, and there's a good thing about Indicator, Michelle, for you, is that the Hammer sets that they put out are eclectically done. There is no topic. Ask away, Kobe. Uh, but yeah, so they've everything from action to war to horror to psychological thrillers. The last three volumes of Hammer have ran the gamut of everything. And if somebody was coming in, Michelle, for instance, and you've never heard of Hammer before, and maybe you just knew like the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Dracula films, or the Frankenstein films, or that type of stuff, like this is a nice little place to go because it's definitely because you're going to get a bit of a deep dive. Like for instance, a lot of people will look at you and talk Amicus, right? And they'll talk about the anthologies and stuff like that. A lot of people aren't going to mention stuff like the Psychopath or the Mind of Mr. Solms or something like that. It's a bit more of a deep dive. Actually, I really like Possession. I don't have it in my collection. I really should. That's one that is missing. Now, have you seen Possession before? It is definitely a bit of a brutal film. I thought it was brilliantly done. It's I wouldn't say it's not the quickest moving film, but it is some of the most brilliant performances that I've seen in horror cinema. It is fantastic, and everybody here is backing it up. Michelle, if Michelle says it, make it so. Definitely go for it. If you have the chance to get Possession, that is a missing part of my collection that I want to get down the road because it is that good. It's got its name for a reason, and it's slowly been garnering a kind of a cult following over the years. Because when it originally came out, it just let's just say it didn't get the fanfare that it would later on. That's the good thing right now about films and collecting and these boutique labels that are coming out. We're getting movies that like just kind of pass by. David G. Just says, get the limited edition, not the standard. I would trust Dave on that, actually. I would totally trust Dave. We're getting to a place where I was seeing the movie The Nesting a long time ago, but I don't remember very well. I'd have to watch it again. To be honest with you, we're getting to a time and a place where there was a time when the studio system pretty much like ensured that I really the Ghost of Mr. Are you talking about the Don Knotts film? Because if you are, yeah. Me too, Mark. I'm hoping for a really good remaster for Revenge of Frankenstein. It needs it. I like Don Knotts. I'm a really big Don Knotts fan, so yes, yes, definitely. Um, yeah, we're getting to a time where earlier on, basically, a lot of like popularity of movies and even movies that you get through at like a Walmart or a store like that, it all depend upon like a studio system and what was getting pushed, what the big popular movie of the month was. That's why so many copies of Titanic came out on VHS, and that's why you find them at every single yard sale because they overproduced them. But it's coming to a point now with these labels, these boutique labels, these labels that are doing kind of like the fringe, the out there type of stuff, that we're starting to get to the point where the fan consensus is really kind of pushing where physical media is going. It's it's us buying movies like Possession, and buying like the indicator sets, like the Hammer sets, the Samuel Fuller stuff, the Bergman sets, the Godzilla stuff, the Zadichis and films like that. That that's really helping to not just push the way that physical media is being put out and what's produced, but it's also getting to the point where it's a whole generation of collectors and movie watchers are growing up on stuff that it took me and people my age or even a little bit younger. It was hard and hell for us to get. But yeah, and it makes me excited about some of the filmmakers coming up because they're getting that chance, and they're getting got six. That is awesome, Dave. They're gonna see these films that kind of like fell under, kind of just fell out of sight, kind of just didn't make it, and they're gonna be influenced by them, much in the way that Tarantino got influenced by Fernando de Leo and stuff like that. So we got a bunch of people growing up and like filmmakers that are coming through that they're not gonna be just like influenced by the local latest Marvel film or the latest Sony film, but they're going to be influenced by this stuff here, by the stuff that's around me right now, and that's going to get us, the chance to actually get some really great stuff. I haven't heard that, but Scream Factory is a company that does, they are a bigger company. They're a division of Shout, and with them, I know that, and they're a business. All of them are businesses. They will look at things that are, numbers are doing good, numbers aren't doing good. Uh, Stephen Thrower is incredible. He's one of the great resources when it comes to this stuff. I do recommend, like, if you haven't picked up those two Arrow box sets, the American Horror Project, I definitely recommend picking them up. The Campsite Islands of the Damned. I thought there's another reason behind that, though. Like what I'd heard was that there was something, that there was something else behind that. It wasn't just like, that it wasn't selling well, because there's other ones that they put out. I think it had something to do with whether, I don't know if there's rights lost or if there was like something with the master. That's what I heard, but I really don't know. But I can tell you, if there's a company out there that would cancel something because it's not doing well, that's probably going to be Scream, and that is not taking anything away from them. It's not a knock on Scream. It's just that Scream, out of like all the companies that I look at on my on my channel, they're very much more business oriented, and that's not a bad thing. They need to sell stuff so that they can keep going. So you're good. That's why. But that being said, there's a lot of really good stuff that they're putting out that we want to see for a long time. Prophecy's coming out. John Badham's Dracula's coming out with the correct coloring. So that I'm excited about. Pet Cemetery 2 is getting a release. So Scream does a lot of good stuff. And hopefully if they do decide to not do the Val Lewton stuff anymore, then somebody else is waiting in the wings to do that. It's a good time for collectors right now because I don't have his book on Jasper. I wish I did, actually. Right now, for the if they had the rights, I mean, I don't know if they got the rights to any Warner Brothers titles. That's the thing, right? With companies like this, though, basically what you get is they're making different deals every day with different companies and different labels, different catalogs. They get the rights to. Vinegar Syndrome recently did that Lakeshore Entertainment deal, so we're going to be getting some stuff like for Vinegar Syndrome out of that. So you never know from one day to the next. But if any company could pull off an awesome Val Lewton set. There's two companies that I would say like, are right like high in the running. They're both UK companies, and that is either Indicator or Arrow Video. Either one of those companies would put out the most kick-ass Val Lewton set that you can imagine. Unless Scare Jessica to Death, by the way, is a movie that I really really like. So that's actually one that does excite me. And I haven't seen it in years, but I know it's something that I want to pick up and I want to watch again. And I love when it's something that I kind of get with fresh eyes. I don't know if we need another version of the Blob. Which Blob do you mean? I mean, because there's the '88 version with, and then there's the original with, with Steve McQueen. But remake. It's a great film. I've got the. There's a few editions of it out there. Isn't Scream putting that out? I mean, I know I got the Twilight Time edition. Somebody sent that to me. That was out of print when they sent it to me, so it was very generous of them. And it is a fantastic film. If you have not seen the remake of The Blob, it's one of those films where it's a really really good remake. Like it doesn't feel unnecessary, and it's casted and done so well, and it has the heart of the original, literally in a case somewhere. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see. Indicator does a lot of stuff. It's hard for me to see like the Blob, like Indicator, the Blob. I don't know. I just don't see it. Oh, Shawnee Smith's gorgeous. I just can't see like that. That is one of their titles, and like, they've put out some horror stuff. Like no, they put out Wolf. They put out like they put out Torture Garden. I kind of want to see them do more of that stuff. Indicator has like definitely leaned into kind of a different kind of like and sometimes like a more upscale and sometimes a bit more of a quirkier label with what they've been doing, and I think that's working for them. We're getting to see some really great stuff. The like look at the Sony stuff that they put out. Look at the Samuel Fuller set or the Bud Boddicker set or the Hammer set. Like just incredible, amazing stuff. We do need a blue. We need a blue of a lot of movies. Fade to Black. I am still waiting to get Fade to Black on Blu-ray. That's that one is high on my list of movies that I want to come out. I'm a huge fan of the film. I like Dennis Christopher. Of course, from Breaking Away, and later on from Profiler. Right, it's Profiler, isn't it? Uh, do I think Indicator doing a Euro horror? Well, they're what sets my favorite for Hammer? Yeah, from the Indicator or from any company, because there's a few different ones you can go with. You want to, you definitely want to check out like with Hammer. You want to be checking out their Chris Lee's Dracula films, the Peter Cushing Frankenstein films. Definitely want to check those out. The Hammer film, the uh, the Mummy. Like you want to get some of the early stuff like that. There's Warner Archives put out a few on their own, like Horror of Dracula, which is definitely a classic. And the right now Scream Factory is putting out a bunch of them. Um, Out of the sets, it depends. Like cinema, Dave, like what you're into when it comes to Hammer. I like an eclectic mix of the stuff that they do. Some people are really into the horror, like the Hammer horror. Hammer horror is like it's a thing for a reason. It's a very gothic sense of horror. It's castles and it is villagers and it is the universal like turned up to 11. I have not actually. I don't think I've seen Taj Not for Children. I feel like I should have, but I haven't. It's one that's kind of slipped past me that I will definitely want to check out in the future. I'll wait for like a future Arrow sale and I'll have that like on my list. I always do up like new like wish lists. But Sema Dave, it really depends. What type of stuff are you into when it comes to this? Are you into the gothic horror? Would you like some of the suspenseful stuff? I would love to see Indicator put out like a kind of Euro horror set, and I could see them doing that. especially with the Norman J. Warren set. I never expected to see a Norman J. Warren set come from Indicator. I was really pleasantly surprised to see that happen. And that really kind of opened the floodgates to seeing some different stuff. Uh, so yeah, I would kill to see some Euro horror, maybe some Eric Blanc stuff like that on there. Oh, thank you. Uh, now, if only some of these companies would like send me something, but alas, I do it for the fun of it. Let me think. Hammer. Give me a second. I'm gonna go right over there because I got a couple sets. Yeah, hold on. Since both Dave and Michelle have asked a bit about Hammer, we're gonna do a quick dive. I don't. I do not remember that film. Six definitely needs a new release. I totally agree with you on that. Hammer. Hammer's a company that's been around since the 1930s, but they became prolific with their gothic horror, and went from there. They've worked in a lot of different stuff, but gothic horror has been kind of been their big thing. They did some adventure titles and all that type of stuff. It's a cool one. Actually, I'll bring that over in a second. So you start with Michelle, you're there, and Dave. One of the big ones is it's called Dracula in the UK. It's called Horror of Dracula here in North America. Warner Archives did an edition of this. This is the UK edition. Definitely has like a ton of features on it. It is a 3-disc edition, so basically you got a Blu-ray and 2 DVDs. You want the original 3? There's Curse of Frankenstein, which is really, really good, by the way. You get like Christopher Lee playing the monster for the only time, playing Frankenstein, basically playing the Frankenstein monster. I never want to get that wrong. This edition here actually has a second film on it. Yeah, 4-sided triangle. And of course, The Mummy. I'm a huge fan of The Mummy. It's not wrong at all. The best way to find out, Michelle, is to just check out a couple things. I wouldn't go for any of the slower stuff starting out, to be completely honest with you. If I was in your area, we would totally do a movie night. Like, get a bunch of people, watch some of this stuff, eat snacks. I would win you over with these films. Oh, really? Studio Canal's putting out some amazing stuff. The Mummy, of course, it is fantastic. It is probably one of the things that really bummed me out originally when I was a kid watching the Universal Mummy films. I found it was a little bit slow. It was atmospheric, but it was kind of slow, and it was not my favorite of the Mummy films. I actually like the Mummy sequels better, like Tom Tyrone and Mummy's Hand, Tyrone, something like that, in the Mummy's Hand. Oh, that sucks. Happy birthday to me. They they'll probably be putting it out again, but I think it's what happens is it's out of print. Is this out of print? Sorry, I have no idea when things are out of print. I do apologize. But yeah, The Mummy, it is a fantastic release. Now, some other releases that are out there, like a Studio Canal put out a new edition of this one. It was put out by Scream Factory as well. I've got the Millennium edition. Millennium is a company that started doing some really great Hammer stuff, but unfortunately, something happened. The company got sold and they stopped doing Hammer altogether. But that is their edition of Dracula, Prince of Darkness. It has like collectible cards and that in it. This is kind of a fun one. This is a follow-up to Dracula, to Horror Dracula. Uh, Still limited, really? Nice. Uh, it's it's a cool one. Dracula doesn't speak in this one actually. Uh, that's kind of a neat little thing. Millennium only put out one other Hammer film. Again, these all had like collectible cards, documentaries, and all that stuff on them. So if you can never get your hands on the Millennium editions of these films here for a decent price, snatch them up. They put out Frankenstein Created Woman, which is kind of, some people consider this one of the lesser ones. It's more of a psychological film than it is like an out like monster film or horror film. But I love Peter Cushing. I think it does a great job in this film. He does a great job in everything. Now, Synapse put out a few different Hammer films. I think there's 5 of them altogether, 4 or 5 of them, 5 altogether. I actually picked up the wrong one. I picked up Frankenhooker by mistake. Great film though. And I got to make sure, yeah, I got to turn around to the. Some of the Synapse Hammer films, for some reason, they decided to put dual covers on the films. There was a clothed cover, and there is a nude cover. I have my turn over to the nude covers, so I'll be careful with how I show these. So this is Countess Dracula from Severin Films. This is Ingrid Pitt, and it is a film basically about Elizabeth Bathory. Hey, with 13th Wolfman. Cash on Demand is an excellent film, Javid, and so is The Full Treatment. Horror Frankenstein is a real. I really love horror. Let me know what you think of it, Don, because Horror Frankenstein gets a bad rap in a lot of cases. I myself am a huge fan of Horror Frankenstein. It has always been like one of my. That's Ralph Bates, right? I'm pretty sure that's Ralph Bates. Ralph Bates, Kid O'Mara, and oh god, I can't remember the other girls. Gorgeous girl. But I'm a huge Kid O'Mara fan. I'm a huge Ralph Bates fan. So anything Ralph Bates is, I'm down there for. I do think they will. It is rumored, Javid, that we're going to get, hopefully, we're getting 4 box sets for sure, but there's a possibility of 5 box sets. So if you have not picked up any of the Hammer Indicator box sets, now the sale is going on. I definitely recommend it. This is the time to dive in to the Hammer stuff, and you vote for getting more of this stuff with your pocketbook. There are indicator. Well, you knew already. 13th Wolfman that the Sinbad set was out of print. During the sale, we've seen the Ray Harryhausen set, Volume 2, which had the amazing Jason and the Argonauts on there. That's gone out of print as well. Then some of the regular stuff has gone out of print. Veronica Carlson, thank you. That's the name, Don, that I was trying to remember from Horror Frankenstein. Horror Frankenstein does a more of a biting satirical look at the at Frankenstein, and it's really, really well done. All right, so next up we got Hands of the Ripper, which again is more of like a psychological thriller type one. I do enjoy this film. I love the ending to Hands of the Ripper. Stuff that I'm going to be reviewing for October, so if you're here for my 31 Days of Halloween, you totally do, man. You got to get those Hammer sets. There's the Twins of Evil, which is fantastic. And as I mentioned here at the beginning of the video, the Twins of Evil has an 84-minute documentary, The Flesh and the Fury Exposing Twins of Evil, an all-new feature-length documentary exploring Hammer's infamous Karnstein trilogy. So, incredible stuff. I haven't seen the trailer yet. I know it's coming to Netflix, apparently. So there's like some people that are super excited about it. And I'm a fan. Evil Frankenstein, that's a fun film. My favorite Frankenstein film out of them all, I'll be honest with you, is Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, which I really love. Vampire Circus, right here, Jason. I'm a huge fan of Vampire Circus. There's a film that Studio Canal, I think they put it out in the UK, so I'll probably have to get it from there. But I've always been a fan of the movie Captain Cronus the Vampire Hunter. I think actually it was way ahead of its time when it came to the type of stuff that it did with the film. It was more along the lines of comic, almost like a comic bookish superhero type of character. You got this Captain Cronus. He has this kind of magic sword that he uses to fight these vampires with. The beautiful Carol Monroe's in the film. You get some cool sword play in the Captain Cronus film. Years before there was a Van Helsing or anything like that, movie put out, you had Captain Cronus and did it better than the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing film did. Way, 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 way better. He rolled Cherry Ball as a scarecrow. That's an odd one. But Hammer has put out a few sets as well. I'm trying to see if I can figure out where the sets are at that I got. I mean, aside from the indicator sets, like obviously you guys know that those are there, but Hammer put out some 8 movie. Like there's Hammer, but I think was it Sony or Warner Brothers put out this 8 movie set that I really, really am a big fan of. Hold on, let me take you with you. Take you with me. So I'm gonna put all this stuff back. So let's go over here. So I don't really see it here, but I am looking. It's my Tenno brass set. It's my Scorpion releases. There is the Dead of Night, which is a movie I love. Dr. Terror's House of Forge. If you don't have that movie, please get it. But I am slowly going back here to see if I can find it. And do I have it? Yes, I do. All right, let's do this then. But yeah, I 110% recommend those indicator hammer sets. If you got the bones to pick them up, definitely do it. He is doing okay. He's still waiting. Thank you so much for asking, by the way. He is still waiting for to hear back from the doctors to get that surgery finally done. So it's a bit of a pain having to wait. I told him to keep me updated. I was talking to him yesterday about it, and yeah, he bought from the indicator sale. Well, man, you know he did. He picked up Samuel Fuller because he loved that. Javid, you are part of the solution. You picked up the 3 hammer sets and the 2 castle sets. So we're going to, with more people picking up the hammer sets, we're going to see more hammer. And once you get into hammer, not sure if you're still there, Michelle. Once you get into it, once you kind of get into it and you see certain actors, it's kind of like when you start watching Full Moon, like the good Full Moon, right? And you watch 1 or 2 and you're like, this is pretty cool. It's kind of like potato chips. You take one, you kind of, this is okay. You test it for a bit. This one here, yes, originally this came, there was a DVD edition of this one, and it had a much more beautiful cover. It has been years, Michelle, since I've seen Crucible Terror. So I would ask anybody else here but me. I think I remember liking it. But has anybody here seen Crucible Terror recently? Yeah, this had like kind of a really cool, the DVD cover was kind of cool. I used to have the DVD of this one. And yeah, and it was like it got stole basically. So this one on sale. This has some really good stuff. This is actually a nice place to kind of start, kind of to dip your toes in. And usually this one's like fairly inexpensive, because you got Brides of Dracula, which Michelle, hello. See, you have this set. This might be where you want to start. And Dave, maybe you too. And I'll tell you why. Here's why. Because this has a nice combination of some of the films. This, are you in like, what area are you in, Kobe? Normally you can see this, like I got this on Amazon CA, like at the time that I picked it up. I got it on at a really decent price. It was on sale. Like a lot of them sold. So if you're in like North America, like definitely you should be able to get this through Amazon. And you in the US, usually it's fairly decently priced. Tell you what, let me just check here for a second for you. I would do that because I am not a meanie. So just give me 1 second here. So right now, Kobe, it is $29.99. So $30 right there you go on Amazon.com. Dave, thank you so much, by the way. Should have saved time, just asked you. So you can definitely grab it there. It's a really good set, and it's a great place to start. It is one that I think will please Dave. Is one that I'm pretty sure will please Michelle, and it definitely, if you don't have it, it's going to please you as well. Let me break it down for you. It has Brides of Dracula. It is the only Dracula film that doesn't have Christopher Lee, but I'll tell you one thing it does have. There are 8 films on this set, Michelle, and it's going to give you a cross section, and it's going to give you some of the best stuff that they put out. So here's the thing: if you're going to like Gothic at all, if you're going to like these Hammer movies at all, this is a set that's going to win you over. This will be the one. Brides of Dracula is a fantastic film. Christopher Lee is not in it, and it is still probably the best Dracula film that's been put out. Followed it up with perfect Oliver Reed in Curse of the Werewolf. Bit of a slow burn, but amazing werewolf makeup. Oliver Reed, obviously, young Oliver Reed he's a mountain of a man, and the perfect choice for the werewolf role. You follow that up with Night Creatures, which is a fun little film. Then you get Phantom of the Opera. It's a different one. Herbert Lom is in Phantom of the Opera. Originally, Cary Grant was supposed to do the role of the Phantom. They even actually added a kind of a dwarfish assistant for the Phantom character to kind of do the nastier stuff, the killings, because Cary Grant, obviously being more of a matinee idol, wouldn't be able to do that stuff. But his agent wouldn't let him make the film. So, you won over with Giallo. I won my better half over with Giallo too. And that's not an easy sell. This is an easier sell. So after Phantom of the Opera, which actually is Herbert Lom, which is fantastic, we got Paranoiac, which is a more of a thriller, again with Oliver Reed in there. Pretty sure it's Oliver Reed for that one. Kiss of the Vampire is probably the most kind of blatantly like artistic and kind of insanely a bit brutal, there's a lot to Kiss of the Vampire. It's layered pretty well, and yet it's not off-putting. It draws you in right from the opening sequence with Anu Kier. Hey Logan, welcome. We're talking Hammer tonight. You know your Hammer stuff, man. They asked me what set to start with. I said this one. Next up is Nightmare, which is a little bit of a fun film, and of course there's Evil of Frankenstein, which is a decent one, but it is not one of the better Frankenstein films. Try those. Try those there, and there's a Warner set that's out there, but it's a bit more expensive. That has around 5 or 6 like the more popular ones like The Mummy and I think Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed on there. Definitely great stuff. It has Brides, man. It's got Brides and Kiss the Vampire, which are two, in my opinion, of the best vampire films put out by Hammer. Anytime. That is what I'm here for. And without a topic, you guys kind of leaned in, and you kind of gave me a topic. You gave me something to run with. It's another Hammer set my dad has. I always say, Logan recently picked up the Studio Canal stuff. Once you're starting to get into Hammer, once you've picked up a set or something like that, and you watched a few of them, then you're gonna want to see more, and you're gonna want to see some of their different stuff. They did a film called, and this is a film that I think was way ahead of its time, called Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. And in that film has Martine Beswick and Ruff Bates, I think. And the twist on that one is basically that Dr. Jekyll takes the formula, but instead of turning into like the kind of the horrific Mr. Hyde, he turns into the in my opinion, the very beautiful Martine Beswick. and it adds some really different layers on there, even to the point where his Miss Hyde's side actually kind of seduces his friend. It's different and very very unique and kind of ahead of its time in some of the things that it explored. But really really cool one. That was put by Studio Canal. Have a great evening there, Michelle, and let me know if you pick something up, and let me know what you're watching if you like it or not. Which yeah, I have. I've seen both versions. I prefer the original, but I did think that it was actually a very decent remake. So I do like to let the right one in. I'm a big vampire fan, and a lot of that is inspired by my dad, who was a huge fan of vampire films, vampires and werewolf films, that type of thing. I would kill to see a good release of Pacific Heights. I don't know if I'd kill for that, but I want a good release of Pacific Heights. It deserves it. It really seems like something that Scream Factory would do. Uh, it kind of it like quote unquote screams of Scream Factory. Can't you actually see it? Isn't it almost like you expect it? Like you expect to go into like a store and see Pacific Heights and see the Scream Factory logo on that one, because it does. It just seems like one of those movies Scream Factory eventually has to get around to putting out, because it is, it's totally within their within the type of stuff that they do. I'm going to check one other thing here. Vampire. Oh, I hope they do a good job with. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge fan of Anders Hove, and I'm a huge fan of the movie, of that film. Damn it. The other Hammer set that I was going to recommend is the horror classics, which said The Mummy, Takes the Blood of Dracula, Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Unfortunately, that one's at $54 right now. I would wait till that one got like a little bit less pricey before you actually go and pick that one up. Because although it is good, I don't know it's $54 good, to be completely honest with you. Which one's my favorite of my Hammer set? You mean out of this one, right? Out of this 8 set right here? Probably Broads. I'll be honest. I'm a huge fan of. There's, I got definitely like love Broads. I want Subspecies 5 to be good so bad. I am going to go into it tentatively, because I'll be honest with you. Subspecies, I loved. I love the original Subspecies. The second one was okay. I didn't like that they killed off the main lead from the first film. That kind of bothered me. And I hated the mummy character. I hated the mummy character. It's one of those things that Charles Band does in his. He always does this a lot as he's doing sequels. That's obviously what they're going to do next. Uh, I Yeah, the mummy character, and then even more so in part three. Part three is okay. Part three is a bit better than part two, in some ways. Part five, is there a part four? Wait a second. What's part four of Subspecies? I'm trying to remember. I remember Vampire Journals, which was kind of like a spin-off, a Subspecies type of spin-off. I can't remember part four right now. Is part four the one where they kind of like they storm the castle with like kind of with guns and stuff like that? Is that the one? Is like there's a more of a militant aspect in part four? Is that the one I'm thinking? Is that the one I'm thinking about? I mean, it'll depend. I mean, take it back to the Gothic style that the first one did. Really focus on Anders Hove. Like really focus on his character, and let's see like what they can do with that. I would love to see Return of the Brother. I thought that was a good dynamic in the first film. The good the good brother, the evil brother. kind of the balancing act. Some people didn't like the brother. I actually thought he was a good lead, and and it was a good kind of a combination, something that you didn't always see. They try to restore his prodigious humanity. I don't remember that at all, man. Uh, Rich, I grew up with Full Moon. In the well, not grew up. I'm older, so Full Moon. When I was going to college, um, Full Moon was kind of the thing. I some of my two of my best friends at the time that I was going to college ran a video shop, and the most successful thing coming out of that video shop every wasn't the newest release. No, it was like the college students and stuff. Every time a new Full Moon title would come out, they would try and reserve it and grab it for the first weekend type of thing. Full Moon when it was extremely popular where I came from, and I would get a lot of the basically what they'd do is they get screener tapes in, and they would ask me, they'd say, we got a lot of these. Can you watch some of this stuff for us? Come back, tell us which ones you think are going to sell. I was a college student. Uh, so basically, I'd say it got to the point where it said anything Full Moon's it's gonna rent, and it did. It would rent like right away. You could be sure that that it would be there. I was a big fan of Empire Pictures before Full Moon. That's like what Charles Band did previously to that. I was a huge fan of Full Moon as well. Now, unfortunately, I do think that Full Moon lately is not has not been putting out the quality of stuff that had before. Um, Now you would have Logan, you would have where you're younger than me, you would have actually grown up though, and where it would have been kind of more of like a formative thing. Um, I was watching it while I was like, you know, with my Captain Morgan and around the region around the table, or at the in the commons room of my college. But yeah, I was a huge fan. I was a huge fan of the Puppet Master films. I was a huge fan of. They're still around, but like Anchor Bay's still around, but they're not the company they used to be. I would love to see Anchor Bay make a comeback. Full Moon, a lot of this stuff Full Moon does right now, it's just Charles Band loves comics. He always has, and he used a lot of that, like the focus on a lot of the stuff that a lot of his Full Moon type stuff. But what right there, what Rich just said is legitimately what I was about to say. Uh, I'm not a fan of Evil Bond. I am not a fan of Ginger Dead Man, and I keep watching it over and over again, hoping it's going to change my mind somehow, and I'm going to become a fan of it. I'm really not. I love the Trancers films. I think Tim Thomerson was a great like pickup for Full Moon. Like they fit together so well. I know that after a while, him and Charles Band had some issues, and Tim Thomerson went away for a while. It is more camp, and it's not. And the problem is, and I think this is the biggest problem with 13th Wolfman, is that it's trying to. It's not. Before they were just trying to make cool movies, and sometimes the movies would be kind of campier, and they'd be a bit more tongue in cheek. They'd have some serious stuff. They'd have then there's some really cool stuff, like Meridian and stuff like that. But now it seems like they're really like they're trying to do it. Like if somebody saw The Room, for instance, I really want stage fright, and I think the Prowler is for certain is a certainty. I think the Prowler is a certainty for a new restoration, like 100%. It seems like basically if somebody went and watched The Room or watched Samurai Cop, for instance, and decided, oh, I'm going to make a cult film, and they actually legitimately went around to try and make a cult film. Now Full Moon looks like they're trying to make a cult film rather than actually just making a good film. Did you check out any other stuff? Like I would go to check out their stuff. I had a crush on a couple of the Full Moon, obviously on a couple of Full Moon girls back when I was in college. When I was going to open up my my comic shop, I called Full Moon, and it was one of the ladies, that was actually an actress from Full Moon that actually answered the phone. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of them. Oh, have a great evening there, Sam and Dave, and let me know how you find the Hammer stuff. Them buried, yeah. If they got still got the right stuff for sure. Now the Lilith Reich, unfortunately, was not a Full Moon. Well, I guess depending on how you want to take it. Charlie Sprouting is gorgeous. Was not a Full Moon production. They really had nothing to do with it aside from the fact that it is a Puppet Master film. Charles Band, well, he still is doing his Full Moon films and his Puppet Master films, but I don't know, Ken. I was actually really surprised because usually I can pick up the Kino releases for a fairly decent price. Now they're all like hedging on the $30 range here in Canada. But yeah, it seems. But yeah, the latest like Puppet Master film, Barbara Crampton had much more to do with it than Full Moon did, to be honest with you. And she's actually, I think it's her production company that's doing like remaking some like recently Castle Freak, for instance. I would love for Kino. You think, is it possible that Kino could do like a nice sale before before October or like in October? I would kind of that would kind of be cool. It's a shame. I mean, Full Moon does still have the potential to do that. Charles Band is one of the great like PR guys. He's the P.T. Barnum of that era. You got to go with what you love, Kobe. As you can see, I'm a huge movie fan. I did do business in school. Uh, One of the many things I went to school for, but the one that I recently went to school for, I actually did business. I did business administration. Uh, but you said you live in the U.S. I'm not sure what area that you live in, but one thing I know is that if there's anything, is there anything movie oriented like that you'd be kind of interested in? Um, don't stray to social sciences. Like Logan's saying, like don't go away, don't go. I don't know, Logan. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Business is definitely going to get you, can get you some decent, you know, decent work afterwards. Uh, but to be, I will be completely honest with you. Uh, if I had it back, I did journalism first. That's what I did. I had journalism and acting. Those were the two things I ended up going doing journalism. I probably would have done acting. It's less secure, uh, and know that. I mean, like, find out what you love. I tell this to my kids. Now, my oldest works at a bank, and my youngest is doing geography. Six figure. If engineering is the type of thing that they're into, I mean, I could go in tomorrow and like I could start doing like a lot of my family went into nursing. I've got a lot of my family in the medical profession. Um, if I would have went into something like that, I'd probably be making a lot more money than I make right now. Uh, but I don't know if I would have stayed there. So it's tough to look over. There you go. You could do your business and administration or do like a related thing and actually just look see if there's like things in your area. Maybe there's there's some like kind of like maybe there's films that are being made, maybe there's local productions that are going on that you can help out with, or maybe there's a local TV station that might have some stuff there. Just get some experience so, like behind the camera and stuff like that. No, keep the Tremors franchise going. I know it's getting bad, but let's keep going anyway. Because you never know, it may come around again. I don't think any franchise needs to like literally like people say, why don't we let this franchise die? Why not? Why? Because the just keep them going. You have an hour set, then fantastic, Kobe. There's probably tons of stuff in or around your area. Like just see what you can get involved in. That way, before you make any like change, like altering, like changing decisions with that type of stuff, uh, just uh, just dip your toe in and find where your interest is. It could be, you could be in acting, it could be like in writing. Maybe you want to go into directing, or maybe you want to work on behind the camera, just cinematography. So just go in there and look at the different options that are available. Talk to some people into your local. I'm not sure whether you're going to a college or a university, but either way, just talk to some people that may be into like the program or the studying area that you're interested in, and check that out. No, Nicolas Cage did not return as Ghost Rider. That's there's that was quick for you. Keep the Tremors movies coming. If some will be good, some will be bad. Nicolas Cage, find another character. Not that I got anything particularly against the Ghost Rider films. I just would love to see a good Ghost Rider film made. Personally, I really would. So hopefully that helped out. And man, at 18, this life stuff should be confusing, but that's okay. It's okay to be confusing. You got a lot of time to enjoy it, and that's always fantastic. For job counselor, I almost did that once. I'm not even joking, actually. The amount of jobs that I've done, it is insane. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything out here. Oh, what's the holy grail of my collection? Well, one of them is the. Actually, I'll show it. I've shown it many times. It's my Six Gothic Tales box set. I'm a huge like Vincent Price fan, and that set is one of the most gorgeous things that I ever picked up. My Russ Meyer set right there behind me there. That's also like, it may seem like a silly thing to you, but the Russ Meyer set was a coup to find that, and I was super like stoked to get that. Of course, the Ingmar Bergman set is definitely on there. I think it would have been better. I don't think Nicolas Cage was the worst like choice for Ghost Rider, but I do think some of the other actors may not have been exactly well cast. I don't know. I mean, Java, to be totally honest with you, Barnes and Noble were it like there were rumors that Barnes and Noble had at one point like had been going under and they were bought out by somebody else. It could be due to the fact that they're under like different ownership right now. I would actually, reach out to Barnes and Noble and see if there's anything that they can do. Ghostbuster, man, Batman. I can't even guess what I do for a living most of the time. So that answer would be no. I would not be able to guess. But can anybody else guess? Hitman. I had I had somebody actually was oh god I was in college and no, I'm not going to tell that story. Oh, the sequel was, and I Peter Fonda was amazing as the devil. He was a cool choice. He was a cool like it's like you get uber cool. Nope. I was iffy on the first one. I thought it was so. That's Frank Miller, right? I'm pretty sure it's Superman Year One. That's the Frank Miller one. That's the new label they got. But it really didn't win me over. Maybe I'll check it out later on though. I'm waiting till the graphic comes out. It is actually a shame, and HMV is the same thing. Like they were again bought out by someone else. But it saved HMV much in the way that it saved Barnes and Noble. Now that changed some of the things. Like there was a time when HMV did actually, like from in the UK, did actually ship outside. I remember that, but because I remember I was going to buy some stuff from them. Have any Korean unboxings? Dude, you want to send me some Korean films? Um, my kids would have Korean unboxing. They have lots of that stuff. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. Double feature for that one. I think it's put up by Chef Factory. Is one of my favorite movies, Race with the Devil. I actually really love that film. I don't have a pull list right now. I am actually there's a comic shop in my local area. I went to them for a few times, and I actually ordered Fangoria, like the latest issue of Fangoria from them, and they were supposed to come like get it in on July the 24th for me, and it is now mid-August, like mid to late. It's late August, and I have heard nothing. So not exactly impressed right now with my local comic shop. Does he really think? Did he really think that's a shame? I mean, like, because it was such an iconic role, I guess. Race to the Devil and the car gave nightmares. The car gave, actually, the car gave my stepmom actually. Um, she was terrified of the movie The Car, the James Brolin film. I don't think the remix, the sequel is going to give anybody nightmares. They did a sequel to The Car, by the way. It's like a, but they made a science fiction film for some ungodly, unknown reason, which I can't wrap my head around it. Who was in Kindergarten? No, I don't think I have. I saw the original Kindergarten Cop years ago. It wasn't one of those ones where I ever thought, there should be a sequel. I think I heard you mention that on one of your sit downs. Uh, actually, Third Wolf Man, to come think of it, when you were, because I was actually going back and watching a few of those again the other day, because I watched the one Third Wolfman interviews like a lot of like horror people. You recently interviewed the Art the Clown from Terrifier. It's a really really good interview, which you guys should check out. By the way, he's interviewed like people like D. Wallace Stone and her daughter actually a couple times, at least twice, maybe three times, and Aaron Brown too recently. Aaron O'Brien. I gotta get Aaron O'Brien, I think, recently as well. Has Burt Reynolds? Are you serious? I'm a huge Burt Reynolds fan, but I've never, no, I have not seen that film. Burt Reynolds has passed, so this must be a while back, isn't it? Manta Labs. I've seen some of the stuff, but Aaron Brown's really cute too. By the way, just saying. And she seemed like to be really super nice and down to earth. I love it when they're like that. When people are like that. I've lucked out so far, but they've when it comes to like the people that I've not met half the amount of people that 13 Women has met. Oh yes, the uninvited. Oh, are we? Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about my uninvited film? Are you talking about the one that came out from Vinegar Syndrome? Is that the one? Does it have like? I'm kind of wondering if that's the one. Because if that's the one, the cat on. Oh yes, it is glorious, and I love this. It is super cheesy. Uh, Watch The Uninvited. It's fun. It is weird, but it's fun. And it has some pretty crappy special effects. You'll love it anyway. Have yes, I did watch Trilogy of Terror when I was a kid. It actually kind of like freaked me out a bit when I was younger. I was disappointed when I actually showed it to my better half and my oldest, and they were fairly unimpressed with the film. To be honest with you, they liked the Zuni doll like portion of it, but they found the first two stories kind of boring. Uh, to be completely honest with you. Now, me, I was fascinated. I was in love with Karen Black. I thought she did such a great job and all that. I actually spoke with Black Fawn a few times. They would come to the Montreal Comic Con when I used to go there. Really, really nice guys. I've got a few of their releases here actually. Um, I was really impressed by what I saw from them, and they were just really easy to get along with. Oh yeah, Black Fawn is I think they're a Montreal-based company. They kind of like do they do a few things. Excellent. Let me know, Javid, what you think about it. There's a ton of features on that set, and it is so glorious. Genesis of the Dialects. I think you're really gonna. I hope you do. Anyway, but I think you're really gonna enjoy that. Same with Ark in Space. Tom's a great place to start. He really is. Who would I rather fight, John? Well, both of them will be kicking my butt. Not even not even close to that. But I would say I would fight Rambo before I would fight John Wick because yeah, I think John Wick could probably take a Rambo as well. Who's my three favorite directors? It's really hard for me to say, to be honest with you. I love Hitchcock. I grew up watching a lot of his stuff. I think that Bob Clark is an extremely underrated director. My favorite film of all time is the 1974 Black Christmas. Another one of my favorite films is I love the Christmas film A Christmas Story. I really like Porky's, and I really love Murder by Decree. All four of those films are very vastly different, and all four of those films are put out by filmmaker Bob Clark. If you've never checked him out, definitely do so because he really he's got a good. If you want to study film, he's got a really good eye when it comes to filmmaking, cinematography. Um, when you watch Black Christmas, if you've never seen it, you will realize there would be no Halloween without it. Jason or Leprechaun? Jason, 100%. Uh, I love these questions, by the way. Uh, and as for like a third, I don't know. I was a big fan of Michael Cortez back in the day. Um, I was a John Ford fan. I'm just trying to think now. I was actually a huge fan of Russ Meyer, though. Not like I know his movies aren't the greatest, but when I was like, I found like there was a certain like artistic merit to what he did. But there's some underrated rated guys like I always say to look at some of the British stuff. Like Terence Fisher was really good. Just did some incredible stuff. He worked for Hammer a lot. Freddie Francis is definitely an underrated director who actually did some really cool stuff as well. Norman J. Warren is definitely a guy to look into. And Pete Walker, who did kind of Jalowitz type stuff. Argento is one of my favorites of all time. Argento, Fulci, Martino are three of the tops. But don't stop there. When it comes to Italian film, a lot of people stop with Argento and they'll go and sometimes they'll branch out the Fulci and they'll get some Martino, but look into the lower guys. Look into like the Lucio Cosis and the Bruno Matteis and the Claudio Fragasos, as cheesy and as silly as some of their films are, because they're usually a blast to watch. Sorry, when you people mention directors and film, I kind of I ramble on a bit, so I do apologize for that. Actually, Inseminate is the one film. Bava's fantastic. Shame on me for not saying Bava. Both Bavas actually, and Lenzi as well. Umberto Lenzi does some fantastic stuff. Actually, Nightmare Beach is being put out by Kino, which is an Umberto Lenzi film. My favorite Vinegar Syndrome film, A Woman Tormented, and is this an adult film? But that's one of my favorite Vinegar Syndrome films. Incubus is another one of my favorite Vinegar Syndrome films, and I do think everybody should own There's Something Out There, but with by Ralph Kaninsky. But but Inseminate is actually the only Norman J. Warren film that they don't have the rights to. So you can get Satan Slaves, Bloody New Year, for instance. Just name a couple of the Norm J. Warren films that they put out. Uh, those are from Vinegar Syndrome. The best Norman J. Warren film really depends. Like some people think Prey is the best one. I think Prey is really good. Um, Incubus is definitely a classic. Javid, I do always recommend Incubus. I think it's a fantastic film. What they do in that film. Like John Hoff is the director of Incubus. It's got John Cassavetes in there, and it's a great performance by Cassavetes. I'm a huge fan. Black Robin of Spaghetti Westerns. There is a YouTuber on here who I owe a great apology to, who I'm supposed to do a live stream with, actually, talking about westerns. Uh, and I don't have Mausoleum yet, so I can't include that one. But that is a fantastic film with Bobby Brizzi. But I'm a huge fan of spaghetti westerns. If you can look behind me right there, you can see that, yes, I do have the now out of print Sartana set from Arrow Video, which is another favorite of mine. My favorite Wim Castle film, I don't know. I really like Homicidal, but I don't know if this is my favorite. Straight Jacket's good. Some people just say Rosemary's Baby, but that's a cheat. He just produced that one. He almost directed it though. But I don't know. I mean, Mr. Sardonicus is fantastic. Tingler. I'm going to go with the Tingler. Hey, Paul Richard, right on. I'll definitely go with the Tingler. It's an incredible film by Warren. House on Haunted Hill, another fantastic film. Perfect, picture perfect. See if what I missed there. Semblance in Orchids is fantastic. I love that one. Favorite Obi-Wan Kenobi? There is only one Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's the original. But the other guy's not too bad. Kenobi series. I didn't know it's a TV series coming up with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I knew he was going to be in like a movie or a TV series show, but I didn't know there's like an actual series coming out of that character. I'm super stoked about the new Marvel shows coming out. The Moon Knight's a series, Miss Marvel's a series. I'm so excited about that. The trivia stuff is really cool now. I usually find myself going there if I'm trying to remember something, and then I'll just like usually read down through. And I'm always cool when I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, or like, oh, I forgot that. WandaVision's one, but they announced three actually. Oh, She-Hulk. That's the third one I'm thinking of. She-Hulk is actually they announced She-Hulk. Oh, really? Actually, I missed that announcement. But I would definitely be interested in it. I want to watch The Mandalorian too. That looks fun. Disney Plus. Not even gonna lie, Disney Plus already got my money. It definitely has my money. Actually, the same. I would love to own one of those mini coffins from House on Haunted Hill. That would, yeah, definitely. Like, as a William Castle fan, I don't think it gets better than that when you're thinking of any of the props that he used and stuff like that. I was lucky enough that I'm old enough that I actually got to go to a theater that played William Castle's films in is on basically in the theater, and it had like the gimmicks, so I was able to see a lot of that stuff. First Blu-ray, you have great taste. Phantom of the Paradise, it's amazing. I love that film. It has a great soundtrack, and I, like many guys my age, was loved Jessica Harper for many years, from Phantom of the Paradise to Shock Treatment to Suspiria. Suspiria. I think they will, and I think that the fact the way that we're seeing like physical media go right now, the way that there's just so many options out there, like for casual viewers, and there's streaming does not have to be the enemy. It doesn't have to replace what we're having right now. It doesn't have to replace like physical media. I own quite a few films. I still have the Criterion Channel. I still have Shudder. Do any of those like take the place of like me collecting? No, actually, it really doesn't. I think they should. I mean, like, unfortunately, uh, it's definitely one of my favorite special features that came out on any of the indicator releases. If you don't have the William Castle set Volume One, uh, I would definitely say it's one to pick up. It is a great documentary if you haven't seen it. I don't have to ignore the past. I used to think that, but oh God, there's a few YouTubers that I've seen on here. Uh, One, her name is Bailey, and she's really into Criterion. She knows her stuff, and she's young, and that always excites me. And she's like around the same age as my oldest, type of thing. And I some other YouTubers, like younger YouTubers, some from England, places like that, and because of the stuff that's around, because there's Criterion, because there's Arrow, because there's Indicator, they still get the chance to see these films, and more so than we did because it was harder for us to find these films. They'll get. Here's the thing. You're 18, right, Kobe? You're going to find that a lot of these people will, they'll, some of them aren't going to come around. But those people were the same people that, if at my age, that wouldn't have came around either. They would have just watched the latest movie in the theater. A lot of them will, though. A lot of them are going to find something, whether it's going to be like through a streaming service or at a at a party or a college, basically just to check out and see exactly what it is. You know, there's a lot more ways to fall in love with older cinema than there ever has been before. So that's always a plus. Read your last comment. Let me check. Yeah, older films definitely look better in 4K because they have the thing there to do them. If I were Logan, would you save the kids when you wake up, or would you go down the mountain to your Bronco and drive away? You drive away. Uh, I had what I would call Spider-Man syndrome or a superhero syndrome back in the day. My personality type, I would save the kid. That's me. But I love silent films. I really do. I didn't always. I mean, like, actually, not to lie, I always did. Like, I just didn't know the breadth and like width of them that were out there. That's the I grew up. They used to play a lot of like Chaplin in the afternoons. Like they played like the Ronald Howard, I think Ron Howard's Sherlock Holmes like series, and around that time they played like I think just before, or just after it on the CBC. They used to play the what's killing me here. They used to play Charlie Chaplin shorts, and I got into that there, and used to play some of the Keystone Cop stuff. And later on, I got into more like when they show like the stuff there. I'm missing on like on a Lauren Hardy definitely needs one. Frozen? Is it Frozen, or did I just not move for a second? Uh, because like on my side here right now, uh, is it Frozen there? Because for me right now, everything's still moving. Is anybody picking up the Abbott Costello set? Because that one looks to be really intriguing. It's going to be expensive, and I might have to choose between Abbott Costello and Godzilla, and it's actually going to be a hard choice. No, yeah, I do apologize. That I was looking at stuff. I was just trying to catch up with the comments as they were coming out there. So that is all on me, not on you, dude. My favorite documentary, I really don't know. I mean, there's a lot. I uh, love I love documentaries. That oh yeah, Shout Factory, I guess Shout Select, is putting out on Blu-ray for the first time because we've seen it on DVD, the Abbott Costello like film collection, and That's coming out around Christmas time. Also, of course, the Godzilla set is coming out around Christmas time, and well, coming out in like late October, but I'd be getting it in November. Two things that I desperately want, like, but they're both kind of pricey, is the Abbott and Costello set and the Godzilla set. So it's going to be like deciding when and which ones to buy. It's going to be rough for a movie lover like me to choose because I really do love the both of those series. I know. Sell a kidney and buy both. Uh, I'm probably going with Godzilla, but I do want them both. Oh, he's definitely the Universal Collection number, right? Like basically with all of them there and all the features and stuff. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any new features, but like this isn't the end of it. I mean, I still need Vinegar Syndrome to let us know what those box sets are going to be, at least the October one, because I have a plan for my October watching, and I'm not going to lie. At this point, unless Vinegar Syndrome comes out with a really like amazing box set, it doesn't include Vinegar Syndrome this October. Thank you, dude. But I don't want you to do that. That'd be keep that kidney. You might need it, man. You find the DVD set. I'm not sure what the what like any what new or not is going to be in there, but I don't have the set, so I would be very surprised if the next set that Criterion, big set Criterion comes out with is not Akira Kurosawa. Uh, there's a few different ways that it could go, but I would be extremely surprised if that wasn't it. Yep. Yep, Kobe. Yep, I am. As we get closer to October, once all the announcements are out on what's coming up for October, I would definitely I would definitely be making like kind of a thing. I'm actually gonna try to do my best anyway to drop a list of like all of or most of the movies that I'm gonna be watching for October, which was an idea from Logan, by the way, Logan Toxic. So if you're still there, Logan, thank you for that idea. So yeah, but I'm gonna try to do that. So basically, this way, if you got an idea of what I'm gonna be watching and when I'm gonna be watching it, uh, if you want to watch it too and come on and talk about it and like have basically talk about having almost like same as you do with the book club in the movie club here, where we'd actually be talking about movies that we'd all seen and seen recently, and it's fresh in our mind. So that it could be something that we could do in October. Ooh, I never thought about that actually. That is a good possibility. I've thought about a live stream watch along. I'm not sure about I'm not sure about like the logistics of it. To be completely honest with you, and how that works out. What's the funniest thing I've ever did? Okay, dude, if I don't do at least one awkward thing a day, something's gone wrong. I have to do something that's at least a little bit awkward every day because I'm an awkward little bunny dude. So, um, coming out with a story, I'm not quite sure. Everyone pushes play at the same time. Z grade films. That's a good idea. Actually, I might do that down the road. Actually, because that'd be kind of fun. My cat's photobombing me in the background. Can you see him? Discuss the films and plays. Kind of like a commentary type thing. Maybe if I did that, maybe one of these companies like a Vinegar Syndrome or something like that would actually see it and say, a Q&A. This is kind of a Q&A when you really think about it. Almost some of it is a Q&A. That's why I've never done the dedicated one. What defines Z grade? Z grade films are kind of the lower, really lower budget stuff. Hey, how did you know, Javed? Uh, literally, that's what I was going to. Things. So whoever doesn't have this movie, definitely want to get for Halloween. I really recommend picking it up. It's horribly bad, but it's great. Flesh eating mothers. Oh, the pendulum sets. I got a couple of those. I got the Catacombs and Tomb of Terror. So I really thought about like watching some of these. Definitely the Under. So these here are the Pendulum Pictures releases that were put out by Mill Creek. They have some really cheesy stuff. The Intervision stuff that's put out by that's Z grade style stuff. Some of the some of the stuff that's put out by Vinegar Syndrome would also list as kind of like a Z grade type of stuff. There's like people you can look towards that could do good Z grade stuff, and there's people that I don't really kind of like go towards. I'm not a really big Bill's Bob fan, for instance, and I know he does a lot of Z grade stuff as well, but it's never been somebody that I've like really, because it's just a little problematic for me. I never really got into his stuff that much. But that's the other Pendulum Pictures like one that I got. Tempe actually worked a lot with back in the day when Charles Band lost the rights to some of his characters through Full Moon before he got the rights back. You know, when he couldn't do a lot of the you know, the Puppet Master movies and stuff like that. Then he worked with Tempe Pictures actually. Astron 6, I heard they're not together anymore, right? That they actually broke up to kind of do their own thing. I was actually disappointed with that. I'm a huge Astron 6 fan. Like, I could go on for days about like Z-graded cinema because it's kind of my jam, man. And it's definitely more so what I've been like, what I'm known for on here. And I'm not quite sure how that happened, but eventually it kind of came, it kind of just happened. Like, they did such great stuff. Like, I love the editor. I think the editor is like severely underrated, especially if you've seen. Dude, that's an amazing price for that. That's not an easy find now. John Waters A grade. John Waters is his own thing. I have two children, a boy and a girl. I think Ed Wood is a better filmmaker than he's given credit for. Not a great filmmaker, but he put a lot of heart into it. But is this Ed Wood Z grade? Yeah. But people always talk about Ed Wood as being like the worst director ever and all this type of thing. He makes the worst movies of all time. Those people haven't watched very many films. John Waters is cold. John Waters is camp. He's kitsch, but definitely not Z grade. Yeah, mine are all grown up too. One's going to university and one's already one works at a bank actually. It has been. Plan 9 has been called the worst movie ever made by people that have never seen a Neil Breen film. Because if you've ever seen Neil Breen movies, you will never call Ed Wood movies the worst movies ever made again. Ed worked with some good actors. He you know, as much as some of it doesn't have the best dialogue or you know the greatest sets, at least there were sets. You know, there was dialogue. There was trying to be trying to be like American Syndrome, trying to be like a he was trying to do something, and his movies are entertaining. But Neil Breen, have you ever seen Neil Breen movie 13 Wolfman? And like, in all seriousness, I gotta ask this. Silent Pictures does some cool stuff. I do like some of their stuff. Their Sherlock Holmes movie sucked, but I do like some of their stuff with the electronic dinosaur and stuff. Uh, but yeah, anybody. Okay, good. All right. Anybody that has not seen like that wants to know like the epitome of like really bad movies, and you want to see like some really bad stuff, I would kill for an Ed Wood box set right now. There were ones that were out there, and there were so many times Cinematech that I was going to Warlock. They don't actually Warlock. That I was going to pick up like this Ed Wood box set and then this other Ed Wood box set, and now they're out of print. They're expensive as hell to get. I don't want like I just can't. I can't bring to myself to just get some cheap jack one. I want one with that really good like Plan 9 from Outer Space documentary. Um, It is. The Room is a bad movie, but like many other, you just got to see it. It's just it's an experience, but it's a bad movie in the way that I actually found it enjoyable. Be, things there's bad movie. Here's the difference. There are bad movies, and a bad movie can be something like Plan 9 from Outer Space, The Room, Things, Astro Zombies, various Ted V. Michaels films, Ray Dennis Steckler. Um, and there's boring films. And that can be from the highest budget to the ultimately utter lowest budget. I haven't watched that one yet. I actually want to watch that one. Um, and I can forgive bad films or Z grade films or whatever. I can forgive bad acting, bad draw. You can see the love put behind that stuff, right? It's hard to forgive a movie that is just out and boring. Hey, Asian movie enthusiast, you're coming in close to the end here. It's hard to forgive something that's really not that really that you can tell the love's not in there, or that they're just doing it for a paycheck, or they're just trying to make a film. That oh, let's make a cult film. What does a cult film mean? Well, let's get a group together and try and decide what that should be. But no, I can't take boring films, and that's again all this stuff is subjective. But I do love Z grade cinema, and my dad it amazes my dad sometimes. Like I picked up a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff, and he's like, you're not going to watch that more than once. That's a one watch movie, and to my dad and to like a lot of people, it's definitely a one watch type of film. But for me, it's something that I dive into a lot. I watched, the Wood write Fugitive Girls. He did write Fugitive Girls. Later on in Ed Wood's career, when he moved to kind of stepped away from directing a bit, he actually worked with director A.C. Stevens, and he wrote some films for him, like Orgy of the Dead and Fugitive Girls. So that was kind of the deal for that. And in Fugitive Girls, actually, Ed Wood does two roles. He actually acts as in for two different things in the film. I still haven't seen Zombie Tidal Wave. I will check it out over the. Maybe I'll leave that for October. I can't leave everything for October. I do. I am leaning into Italian films during October, just to let you guys know. So I do know that Zombie 3 and 4 is going to be on my October watch list. So if you got those films, definitely check them out around October, and I'll let you know around when I'm going to watch those, because I do want to have some Fragasso. Of course, did you expect a movie called Murder Lust, put out by Severin's kind of sister label, Intervision, which is shot on video, to be anything other than utterly terrible? Because I don't know how terrible it is because I haven't watched it yet. But that is is it like boring terrible, or is it just badly acted terrible? Because I don't know at this point. I know Project Nightmare is something I'm looking forward to be completely honest with you. But maybe I'll watch Murder Lust tonight. I was going to save that one for October. But for most people, it was the worst. Now, do you have the Intervision version of it, or did you watch it online type of thing, or maybe it's on on Amazon or something? Because I haven't checked out the DVD. My dad watched it. he wasn't a fan of the film, but he didn't like having issues with the audio. I don't think. I missed a comment there, so I'm going to check it out. Two-headed shark attack 4 times. Um, Intervision. I'll check it out. The thing is that, unfortunately, Logan, that's on DVD for a reason, and a lot of these movies were shot on video, and that is actually, sadly, that's probably as good as this movie's going to get for some of these films. You, what you saw, with the, kind of the darker thing, like the not so great sound, that more than likely had more to do with the filming itself and with the the elements that were used at the time. That's the reason that a lot of these movies don't. That's why you see. That's why Murderless isn't one of the Intervision like Blu-rays, and and it wouldn't be. Which is it's sad to say, but it's better to have it in like saved, even if it isn't in the best condition, than not to have it at all, I guess. I want Shark. I need to watch rewatch Shark Exorcist. That's that I want to see. Oh, John Schneider. I'm a huge John Snyder fan. I used to watch Smallville. But I feel your pain, Logan. Always keep an when it comes to those titles, the Intervision titles, they're hit or miss like in quality wise. So I always say wait for like kind of a sale, or if you can get one at a decent like on a cheap price. I'll never pay like $20 really for an Intervision title. It's a 5 to $10 Intervision is usually what I'll go with that type of stuff. Actually, I think the first Intervision thing I got was actually one of their only Blu-rays. Ghost Shark. That's really with Cool Duder. Yeah, I would love to. I gotta check that out. I've seen like oh god, Cool Duder and like they've never been on my channel. Unfortunately, I don't think they know who I am. Thank you, George. My classic movies. Well, I learn a lot from you guys here too. That's what helps it. Oh, I saw. I'm so out for public domain. Forgot to register the rights to for years. Remember Night of the Living Dead? That was a public domain type of thing. Um, or movies were basically movies. Sometimes movies become public domain. Like people forget to re-register the rights. I think I need a combination of both. I need to balance it out. Thanks. I really, really do appreciate that, especially recently, guys. Where things have been like my better half is going away next week, unfortunately for work. She has another work trip, so I'm going to be on my own here. So I'm probably going to be doing a few videos, and we'll have some fun stuff. Night of the Living Dead was public domain actually. Uh, I think yeah, anybody could have put out, and there was like issues with certain like fighting over like certain rights, like basically the Living Dead part and like the George Romero do what he went for. That back then, like that's like when you think about a 13 Wolf band, just look at all the like Doctor Who, for instance. Like look how much of that was lost because people didn't think that it would never come back. There's no reason to save it. No reason for anybody to care. Things are catching up on me. What movie one's Cool Duty? Yeah, they do actually. Oh, you can find some pretty bad transfers in Night of the Living Dead. I mean, like, uh, obviously, if you want to get Night of the Living Dead, you want to get it right. The Criterion Edition is the one to grab. 100%. It's a Wonderful Life was like, and because of that, like 13 Wolf Man, like you grew up and I grew up and Warlock grew up seeing it on TV so much, so often. Return of the Living Dead, like the last couple, were nigh unwatchable, to be completely honest with you. I've seen some of the Lake Placid ones, and I actually got one here that I haven't watched, to be honest with you. And the Anaconda ones, not all of them. That's the one I got here that I haven't watched, actually, is Lake Placid 3. I'm pretty sure I got that over there. And I picked it up and I'm like, I got to sit down and watch that. And like with so much of this stuff, and you definitely understand this, guys, is that you get so much, and then there'll come times, especially like certain times of the year, where I get so much stuff that I'm like, I just got like a watch pile that I slowly get through. Around October is when I get through them like a little bit easier. 88 Films Anaconda box set Warlock. It looks gorgeous, and it's one that I definitely want to grab down the road. That's why I waited on the Anaconda films. Actually, is when I saw that box. It looked fantastic, and something that I definitely want in my collection. I love those type. I love like big monster movies and stuff like that. Like for instance, I will tell you right now that Killer Crocodile 1 and 2 are coming out. Severin, you know, who's excited about that? This guy's excited about Killer Crocodile 1 and 2, because that is my type of cheese, man. I love the cheese. Yellow Fangs. Oh. Directed by Sonny Chiba? I don't know if I've seen that. I'm going to look into that. It's hard. It's hard when you collect all the time Warlock. It's hard like to get and to like really like just find a. Because she worked on it. Uh, she probably knows. But it's really sweet of you as a dad to say that. Oh, the Killer Crocodile ones, I gotta get those. Oh, I did. I have seen Alligator. I don't own it, but I did. I almost picked it up once, actually, when I was in Ottawa. Actually, one of the viewers on here actually asked me if I ever go to Ottawa, and I said, yeah, I actually get my sister lives in Ottawa, and I used to live there. So that's a place that I do when I can. I try to visit. That and Toronto, Ottawa tend to be places that I would like to go that are in within Canada. It's just getting the time, the money, and the especially the time. It's more the time than anything else. But anyway, guys, at 113 minutes, we did a long one here, and wow, that kind of blows me away because I came on here with barely a topic at all. And we've spent almost 2 hours going through everything from Hammer to the Indicator sale to monster films to Z grade. And there's a lot more to say about Z grade. There's a full stream that we can do at least on Z grade stuff. When I come closer to finding out exactly what I'm going to be doing with Halloween and the watch list, you guys, you're bad man. Well, remember, we'll know exactly what I'm going to do ahead of time. I'm going to try to get that out ahead of time. And thanks to Logan for that idea again. Again, there are so many of you guys here that have amazing channels and are doing amazingly, like, interesting, challenging, really, really cool stuff. So if you check out my stuff and you haven't had the chance to check out some of the other channels that are on here, a lot of these commenters on here are not just fantastic commenters and fantastic movie club members. They are fantastic YouTubers that do incredible stuff. So keep an eye on those names down there and just check them out, because you're going to find your new favorite channel and your new favorite video through that. I am Aaron. This is the Movie Library. You guys are the movie club. As always, you guys are fantastic. You rocked this video because I was not sure what I was going to do or where I was going to go, and you guys steered the ship for me. You did a great job of it. But for me right now, my voice is going. It really is time for tea. Have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.